Musta is a multisensory, experiential journey that takes the audience through immersive spaces that unravels the inner workings of depression and mental health difficulties.
To me, I find it very brave and encouraging because an issue about mental health is very relevant. It's a conversation right now, and it gives the information out there that something is happening and there's something we can do about it.
The goal of the production is to encourage greater awareness about depression and about mental health. But it's actually more than just awareness. By putting the contraction of the Filipino word kamusta, how are you, or musta, as a title, it intends to interrogate the kind of relationships that we form within our communities, within our societies.
When it comes to technical and the creative process, it was actually really fun and of course busy because we had a lot of installations. But we also got challenging part of the technical and designing of the production itself is we actually used recycled bottles, the garbage bags and all that.
A lot about this production that's very new and very uncommon about any production that involves story because it requires the audience to participate willingly and with a sense that they can choose how quickly they want to go through the story or how deeply they want to be involved in the story.
I feel great. I feel very, as a Benilde student, I feel very honored to be part of an event such as this because it really provides us a training ground for our education. In here, we really learn by doing, and that's the beauty that Benilde does.
So I'm actually grateful for having this kind of events because I'm able to portray my abilities as an arts manager. I'm able to communicate and connect with people, not only communicate with people but also be able to know more about the production itself. You get involved in the production and it's really great.
Musta tells a story about depression, but it's more than just that. We want people to be aware of themselves. We want people to be aware of other people, be mindful of their experiences so that they will have an idea on how to live life each and every single moment of it.
I don't know. I don't really care, honestly. I just want to be happy, and it doesn't matter what other people want. To be happy, to enjoy my wealth, to
Bakit ako nandito? Gusto ko makilala ng lahat. Gusto ko na tingalain nila ako dahil nag-iisa lang ako. Dahil ako ang hari. Hindi ko din alam. Hindi ko alam kung bakit ako nandito.
Ano ba ang gusto niyo? Gusto nila na nandyan ako para tulungan sila araw-araw para makuha nila yung gusto nilang gawin, para magawa nila yung mga gusto nilang gawin sa buhay nila. Bakit ba ako nandito? Wow, di ko alam. Di ko alam. Baka nandito ako, hindi lang parang sa ibang tao. Para din sa akin.
Nandito ako para sa palagay ko, ang gusto ng ibang tao na gawin ko para sa kanila, actually hindi ko alam. Hindi ko alam. Teka lang ha, saglit lang. Okay, hello? Oo.
girl's probably dead by now with the way you're dragging your feet on this case.
The suspects are all creatures. Vampire, Gorgon, witch.
I don't care what you think you've heard.
She knew what she was signing up for.
Truth is whatever you want it to be.
Everyone's got something to hide.
Would you just listen?
A little advice. Assume they're lying.
Striking! Mahirap ang papel mo. Gagampanan mo ang pulubi.
Anong klaseng papel yun?
Sa gayon, ginagaranti ako na lahat ng buhay ay mailalarawan sa ating dula. Pangkalahatan ng aking karunungan, kaya tiyak kong lahat ng papel na iniaangkop ko sa inyo ay bagay. Katulad sa iyo.
Kung makakakuha na ako ng ibang papel, gagawin ko. Kung mangangasan ako, sisisantay ko ang aking sarili, ora mismo. Mula sa buhay na pinili mong ibigay sa akin. At dahil hindi ko magagawang bigyan ang sarili ko ng ibang papel, bagamat hangad na maging ganong katapang, tatanggapin ko. Pero isipin mo lang kahit sa saglit, Panginoon. Pakinggan ang sasabihin ng gaganap na bilang pulubi. Pinakapangit ang papel ko sa dula.
Ikaw ang pinakadakilang henyong nilikha. Wala kang katulad. Wala! Ano kayang itatawag ko sa iyo? Itatawag ko sa iyo, degdeg. Nilalang gaya ng phoenix, nilikha mula sa sariling abo. Oo, tama! Ikaw! Ikaw ang daigdig!
Welcome to the show.
You deserve this. Come on.
Ethan, hindi ka nakamute.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Maga De Leon, the Associate Dean of Benilde's Arts and Culture Cluster. Benilde's Arts and Culture Cluster, or BACC, operates under the School of Design and Arts of De La Salle College of St. Benilde. BACC is one with its programs, namely Arts Management, Dance, Design Foundation, Music Production, Production Design, and Theater Arts, and striving to be a leader in creative education by instigating progressive, inclusive, and ethical artistic processes. Today, we engage in one of the many iterations of Benilde BACCTalks 2021, a series of conversations on creative interventions, engagement, impact, and artistic process. We are delighted for this opportune moment to have representatives from TEATRO GUINDEGAN, MASKARA Theater Ensemble, HARLEQUIN Theater Guild, TEATRO LASALLIANA, and DULAANG Filipino to join us today. Let arts thrive despite COVID with BACCTalks 2021 playing the pandemic.
Let me be the change I want to see. To do with strength and wisdom all that needs to be done, and become the hope that I can be. Set me free from my fears and hesitations. Grant me courage and humility. Give me the spirit to face the challenge and start the change I long to see. Today I start the change I want to see. Even if I'm not the light, I can be the spark in faith, service and communion. Let us start the change we want to see, the change that begins in me. Today I start the change I want to see. Even if I'm not the light, I can be the spark in faith, service and communion. Let us start the change we want to see, the change that begins in me. Live Jesus in our hearts forever.
Mayang magiliw, kaya sa silangan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan na ng magiging, sa manlulupig, di ka masisi. Sa dagat at mundong sa simoy at sa langit mamahal, Manila ang tulat, awit sa panlayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidinig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng buwan, ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa FELIMON. Aming ligaya ng may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
This webinar is facilitated by Benilde's Arts and Culture Cluster's very own Dr. Sunita S. Muki, a thespian, writer, artist, arts advocate, a scholar, and a professor. Should you have questions about the talk, please force them through the chat box. Doc Suni will accommodate them during the open discussion. Hi, Doc Suni.
Hello, Magda. How are you? Oh, this is so exciting. Welcome, welcome. It is so delightful to be in the company of fellow LASALLIAN family thespians and theater folk. All of you who have come to experience and be inspired through this new kind of theater, perhaps, that has sprung from this quarantine quandary, from this lousy lockdown, from this pandemic pandemonium, or should I say, the plague. Today, we shall witness the work of our LASALLIAN family of theater from Ozamiz, Bacolod, Cavite, and Manila, as they play with, they play at, and despite the COVID pandemic. I'm remembering Shakespeare, who despite the bubonic plague that was ravaging England, he wrote King Lear, Macbeth, Antony and Cleopatra. Though the plague was not the subject of these great tragedies, most of the pieces you will see today deal with the pandemic and its effects, and the kind of theater that can happen. In the last webinar, Community Pantry of Joy, a call was put out to have artists share joy during these sordid times. Today, though, we face the pandemic head on, head held high, hearts on our sleeves, and with theater as our currency, or arsenal, if you will. Speaking of theater, about us doing theater, how many of us have experienced criticism, objection from our near and dear ones during normal times, before the pandemic? Why are you doing theater? What will you do when you graduate? Doubts are even more so now. Even more now, because where's the live theater? What are you doing? All on Zoom. We can't even do a performance in an actual theater as yet. I would like to share with you this sweet, moving piece by one of Benilde's freshest theater graduates, Isabella Peterson, who performs this love letter to theater. This is filmed in Canada, where she finished her Benilde theater courses online during the lockdown. So sometimes the classes were happening at 3 o'clock in the morning for her because of the time difference. Can you imagine? She presented this performance piece for our class in contemporary theater, combining performance art, a monologue, and the music of Stephen Sondheim. Let's look at Isabella's love letter.
Kailangan pa ba pag-aralan yan?
Hindi naman kailangan talent dyan eh.
Sayang, matalino ka pa naman. Ang hirap mag-artista ha. Only 1 in 1,000 makes it.
Uy, tumaba ka.
Kailangan mo lang mag-dieta.
OMG, ang payat mo na. Okay ka lang?
Hindi mananalo yan. Hindi marunong mag-Tagalog.
Masyado ka naman Inglesera, hindi na kita
It's not gonna sound good on you, Isabella, kasi baluktot ang Tagalog
Hindi
mo.
bagay sa'yo. Hindi pang masang beauty.
Gusto mo ba talaga mag-artista? Depende sa yan, ha? Depende kung gaano ka
I don't know why
kagutom.
she shifted into arts. I thought she would take up business in college.
Akala ko magdodotora
Ay,
ka.
ang puti mo. Ang ganda.
Hindi naman siya masyadong
In
maganda.
this world, you always have to look good.
Masyado ka
You
naman
never
conscious
know
of beauty
who's gonna
mo.
see you.
Lost
So
your honest.
unprofessional. Shouldn't you
You
already
need to
know
ask
this?
a lot of questions.
You ask
to
too
make
many
sure you're
questions.
doing it
Masyado
right.
You
kang
need more
papansin,
training. Hindi ka
You
ready.
look overtrained.
Sorry,
Parang
you're
always
too
performing.
Masyado kang foreign
You take things
looking.
way
You
too
need to
seriously.
take
If you
this
don't
more
make it as an
seriously.
actress, you can always
Sana
correct.
iba ka na lang
Sobrang
nag-direct.
sensitive.
Hi, that's part of it. Get
Problema
used
ng
to it.
Pilipinas. Ano naman ang mako-contribute ng theater dyan?
Someone to hold you too close. Someone to hurt you too deep. Someone to sit in your chair and ruin your sleep.
Someone to crowd you with love. Someone to force you to care. Someone to make you come through.
Will always be there,
as frightened as you of being alive. Being alive.
Somebody need me too much. Somebody know me too well. Somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Make me alive. Make me confused. Mock me with praise. Let me be used. Bury my days, but alone is alone, not alive.
Somebody crowd me with love. Somebody force me to care. Somebody let me come through. I'll always be there, as frightened as you, to help us survive. Being alive. Being alive. Being
It's just too true, isn't it? That theater does keep us alive. It forces us to care. Yes, our dear Isabella is currently rehearsing for 12th night. She's playing Olivia despite the pandemic, and this is in Canada. Let's continue to be inspired. Let's keep these ruminations and in mind as we journey with our presenters today as they share with us what their theater organizations have done. Has this lockdown created a new kind of theater? What has this pandemic taught us about health, disease, relationships and isolation, sanity and spirituality? What is the future of college theater today in the Philippines? Just keep these ruminations and provocations in mind. We have with us today the FELIMON Blanco, the current head of the NCCA's National Committee of Dramatic Arts and the founding artistic director of TEATRO GUINDEGAN, the resident theater company of LaSalle University, Ozamiz City. There are just These are just some of the highlights of this very full theatrical career of FELIMON. From 2008 to 13, and again 2017 to 2019, FELIMON also served as Mindanao representative to the National Committee on Dramatic Arts. From 2007 to 2010, he was the Provincial Artistic Director Designate of the Zamboanga del Sur Provincial Tourism, Culture and Arts Office, in charge of developing cultural and arts programs for the province. Currently, he is also a senior faculty of the NCCA Department of Education Sanay Guro National Training for SPA Teachers. With TEATRO GUINDEGAN, in 2014, his dance theater piece, Hugis, was performed at the Solo International Performing Arts Festival in Indonesia. In 2016, again with Guindegan, his nonverbal play, Patched, was performed also at the first Asherwad International Theatre Festival in Bihar, India. In 2017, Sinugdanan was performed by Guindegan again at SIPA in Indonesia. Besides being a regular delegate to international programs and conferences in Japan, Shanghai, India, Abu Dhabi, he has organized a number of programs showcasing the works of the university and college-based theater groups in Mindanao. The municipality of Tabulig also awarded him the Tambuli ni Ilig Award for Arts and Culture, as well as provincial government of Zamboanga del Sur awarded FELIMON the most outstanding Zamborzurian for Arts and Culture category. Zambosurian, outstanding Zambosurian, Arts and Culture category. Let's welcome our dear FELIMON Bonito Blanco.
Thank you very much, Doc Sony. Good afternoon to all LASALLIANs nationwide and to all the online viewers. So as introduced earlier, so I am FELIMON Bonito Blanco, and I am currently the artistic director of the LaSalle University TEATRO GUINDEGAN, based in LaSalle University in Ozamiz City. 2 days ago, June 15, we celebrated our 14th founding anniversary. And allow me to share a brief background of the company. TEATRO GUINDEGAN was established on June 15, 2007 as the official resident theater company of LaSalle University. Over the years, the company is known to stage stylized, quote-unquote, stylized production using Asian classical arts system. Over our 14 years of existence, we are able to formalize a theater training system we call Guindegan Performance Style, or GPS. And allow me to share to you a short video clip of our production following the GPS theater training program.
Mga great balita. Hapit na nga mong kasal. Pagkaadlaw na lamang, tungan sa pagsubang sa bagong bulan. Apan ay kalaay, hihinay-hinay pag-ayo sa adlaw. Ipahinam-hinam ako sama sa tigulang nga balo, nagimo sa'y humaplos nga lalaki, arong pagulat sa iyang panulundon.
Maayong duki, gilumay niya ang akong anak. Ikaw, Alessandro, ang nagpadayag mga garay, ang nagbinayloay o mga matamis ng mga pulong diya sa akong dalaga. Imong ginahalad sa kahayag sa bulang busilak.
Ito na pagsupak may umaw, Hermia. Alessandro, ako mas may katungod sa iya kaysa kanimo. Sa iyo ang pagulod sa amahan, Demetrio. Sa ako kang Hermia. Tawusing amahan, pagpakasal.
Sa iya ang akong pag-uyon. Wala'y puamon nga, Alessandro. Sa iya usap, tanang na akong paguna-una. usap ako. Kung labaw sa tanan ang akong tugma. Narugaw na ako na may binuang ako. Kung bawa katuyuan, karong buhilat ako. Samtang ang kamatinunan po ang natutuod na.
Ay, bisamot ka sa maayos sa pagpangilad. Suplad kong ipatay ang kamaturan. Uli kipugaton. Saan usap ang timbana. Hansaan sa iya usap ko ang timbana. Susama kagaan sa type sa hangin.
Wala ko na umaksa niya ako siya sa aral.
Ay, wala mo niya ko na karon ni binuang.
Higog pa siya ni Demetrio. Kani mo wala na kagusto. Ay, hilin na maputan.
Okay, tell us your scenario first before you go.
Our scenario is a young bride serves less than desirable meal to her husband. Go na, Neil.
Open curtain.
Oh, nara imuhang panihapon.
Nagluto niyo.
Lugaw.
Lugaw na punta?
Lugaw raman ito makaya.
Okay na. Ano tayo saging sa kusina? Diba? Yung ganit sila. Basta saging. Sa ganito?
Uy, mura makagbuang. Uy.
Lagi ba?
Basta saging.
Lagi. Pero, honey babes, sorry kayo ha.
Sorry po, honey babes.
Ano, mag-promise ko nimo sa una na hatag na ko tanan sa imong ha. Mga tanan imong pangandoy atong abuton. Pero sa akon man gyud nga di ta punsa na to pinaning kamot di man gyud ta makasulod sa kaharuhay.
Kira na, honey babes. Uy, ang importante gauban ta, honey babes.
Iguwa ko ha.
Kira ka ayo. Ayog ka balak ka ugma manglabak ko.
I wanted to keep the live, quote-unquote, live nature of theater. I wanted to make actors feel the urgency and in-the-moment feeling when performing live to an audience. I reprogrammed the two festivals that Teatro Guindegan has been staging for the last many years. Inosara Mindanao Solo Performance Project and Paris Mindanao Duo Festival. Through the project Itanghal, the festival were conducted via online platforms. This became, quote-unquote, live FB Live theater festivals where actors performed live from their home places, technically controlled and streamed from LaSalle University. Good thing that Ozamiz created the new office, Educational and Digital Media Services Team, or EDMST, of which its creative director, Ted Najantakan, is also my co-artistic director of the Teatro Guindegan. They became our technical and production team to support our online theater experimentation. My team asked me, what will happen if suddenly the internet connectivity of the actors or groups will drop or lag? My answer, in this kind of online live theater, This is part of the experience. When the actors freeze on screen during the show, then this is an experience to be shared by both the online viewers and the actors. Though we video recorded already the technical and dress rehearsals, which serve as plan B. If the FB Live goes wrong, we agreed to stream online the pre-recorded video of the performance taken during TDR, so the online performances can continue. Another note, in this time of work, the virtual theater becomes the house, the room, the backyard, the kitchen, etc. It is a surreal experience that you act live in front of the camera, streamed online, and viewed by audience from different places. There are no cuts, stops, and starts since the streaming is live. The role of the actor is to keep the performance going as if performing to a real, physically present audience with whom as the virtual stage. In the second edition of Inosara, I have invited 4 other theater actor directors to perform with us or with me live from their cities, from Dumaguete, Zamboanga, General Santos, and Ozamiz. The virtual stage manager controls the flow of performances, give cues and instructions via Facebook Messenger, StreamYard chat, and etc. Let us watch this short video clip.
I am just small, very small. I am tiny, and you can't even see me. But why are you afraid of me?
Gusto ko makalabas sa mga harang na to!
Tao sa hagdan, nagtanaw sa kamera.
Day 200.
Kapila ba ko niingon sa inyo nga dili mo magdula diri sa atubangan sa akong balay kay ako mga tanong maigo sa inyong bola. Tanawa na oh. Di ba lali magpadako ana ako mga tanong. Kunya inyo lang dasmagan? Ha? Ayaw magdula diri. Dito mo. Palayo mo. Dito mo.
Hello mga kadora, mga kalaag! Gamora nagdawag mga kalaag kayo na preso sa ilang balay. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. Ug sa mga new viewers, subscribe na kay fresh pa mo sa mga lumpia ni Maninay. Or else lumutan jud mo. Chara, 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 chara. This is your ever gorgeous Tedora.
I think this is the last question, so I think I'll ask all my collaborators to share their process of doing this, of doing the work in relation to the question. So this was during the audience, the virtual audience interaction. In the 4th edition of Pares, we invited 5 theater groups from Zamboanga, again, the Pitan, Kidapawan, Davao, and of course, Ozamiz. In the case of Teatro Guindegan, I worked with my student artists who were in 2 separate places. One was in Ozamiz and one was in Zamboanga del Sur. We rehearsed via Zoom, Google Meet, Discord, and Facebook Messenger. Imagine directing and coaching actors via Zoom. There were successes and frustrations, and yes, we were able to successfully implement this experimentation where two actors performed live from two separate spaces, streamed to one online platform, controlled by the technical team in another space, and broadcasted online and viewed by virtual audiences from different places. Here is a sample clip. Hello, welcome to the 4th edition of Pares Mindanao Duo Festival. Pares is a festival of two-actor plays intended to provide platform for artistic exchanges and collaboration among student theater groups in Mindanao. This is a project of the LaSalle University TEATRO GUINDEGAN in collaboration with the network members of Performing Mindanao Student Theater Network. Now on its 4th year, we go virtual due to restrictions of mass gatherings. But we still want to keep the essence of theater as a live art. Hence, the performances that you are about to witness this afternoon will be performed live from the places of the participating groups and will be broadcasted online. This will be quite an experience. If at some point during the live streaming, your screen freezes due to connectivity issues, then that is part of the whole experience in watching live performances via the internet in this new normal setup.
Oy! Tol! Ati ka! Purmahagod ni mo ron! Mag-6 ka no? Na! Ay, pasagad ay! Naganrog daw ang cases ka ron. Lisod na! Tol? Unsa man tol?
Okay. Ako nagutang ang hugog sa mga niluto.
Kapalo ka kung unsay akong isakripisyo para lang atong trabaho ah! Ah! Rihan ang tanan! Siguro karon ipay kay ka, ha? Kaya ikaw di pabilin sa trabaho. Then ako dire eh. Halos mo matay na ko ginunauna kung aha ko mangitag konsumo sa sunod adlaw. Pwisit!
Indeed, doing theater during the pandemic is very challenging, but it will test you, thus creating new language of creation and performance, be it Zoom monologues, or TikTok drama, or senior drama. We make use of what we have to continue our works. As I see it, it will not be so soon that we can go back to the normal conditions of doing face-to-face works. So we have to continue finding ways to keep the arts alive in our communities, to continue feeding the souls of humanity through our works. Daghang salamat from the Salle University TEATRO Media.
FELIMON, was very inspiring, and I have to say, even the comments in the chat box, they're saying that they did enjoy the performances, even if our internet was a little shaky, which is the reality of this new medium, right? But very innovative and interesting. It is powerful and an inspiration. To our LaSallian family in Mindanao, thank you so much for this creativity. Thank you, FELIMON. We now take ourselves to Bacolod to be enthralled by the University of St. LaSalle's MASKARA Theater Ensemble. We were supposed to have TANYA LOPEZ, the artistic director, introduce, but again, the reality of the internet is interrupting our flow, but not stopping it. But we do have the outgoing president of MASKARA Theater Ensemble, NICOLE, who is going to be introducing this short video about Maskara Theater. Nicole, are you there?
Hello, Dr. Nee. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Nicole. I'm glad that you're able to fill in the shoes of Tanya, your artistic director, as the outgoing president of Maskara. So tell us about what we're about to see.
Again, maayong hapon sa inyo tanan. My name is Nicole, a representative from U.S. University of St. LaSalle, Bacolod, Negros Occidental, Maskara Theater and Song. So a little bit of description. Last year, our Ensam, the founder of our theater group, Direk Peke Galiaga, passed away. And we are celebrating our 50th anniversary next year. And I would like to extend the gratitude that we are very happy to be part of this webinar to share our experiences as theater artists trying to cope and survive the pandemic in the last 14 months since our province declared a lockdown. The video was divided into 3 parts. I'm sorry about that. We prepared an approximately 14-minute video. This sums up our initiatives, which we were able to implement both online and face-to-face. So the first part is a device piece, which is an output of a workshop we had last February. And this is our entry for CCP Tuloy Po Kayo. The second part is an excerpt from a tribute we did for Direk Peke Galiaga. And the last part is an online Christmas offering to our LaSalle community, which also includes a compilation of clubs activities in the academic year 2020-2021. So fellow thespians and artists, the Maskara Theater and Song. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know. A Washington State resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China, where the outbreak began.
May production kami sa Boom. Oh, kabisi na gitsubong sa ila. Yari na sa naga-makeup, kaga-floor sa lines. Ang nag-handle sa music. Yari naman nag-prepare sa ilan ng mga costumes. Kagato naman din ang test na nag-prepare nights. Kami, ang Organizational Theater sa University of St. LaSalle, Bacolod, kaga mga membro sa among organization, nagahalin sa sinari-sari ng mga college department sa eskwelahan.
Okay, actors, please review your lines, okay?
Nadumduman ko bala, sang una, nabudlay yan, di ko mag-memorize ang lines. Pero mas budlay mag-make-up eh.
Best friends? Abi ko, best friends ta? Pero nga ako na sinapagwa ko yung mga istorya sa iba na tao.
Ano problema, friend man? Ka-confuse ko sa imo.
Anong problema? Dako-dako sa problema.
Ano naman?
Okay, cut! Okay, let's do another approach.
Amo na gani na importante gid na may mga holistic trainings which is ang gina-undergo namon from the very beginning of our journey as aspirants hasta na maging member. Tungod sa different trainings, na-discover namon ang amon kinaiya nga mga forte as individual artists. And together, with each other's efforts, we become an ensemble.
Magkaray ka mo!
ginagdaka mo namon. Kami ang mga alagad sa taliambong. Kag sa duna, sa teatro nga LASALLIANO. Susubok, ipakita ko sa inyo ang amon ginahimo sa MASKARA Theater Ensemble ang pinalangga namon nga organisasyon. Ano nga mong ginahimo? Madamo! Pero ang forte namon drama. Kisagas na kami amon play. Pinadirect amon obra. Pero syempre, acting man kami. But wait, there's more! Wala lang kami acting. We also do production. Pre-prod, in-prod, and post-prod. We also do cultural work, stage management, and production management. And syempre, we keep touch on our own culture and roots. Grabe! All around gigami ang maskara. Andun na sa teatro nga LASALLIANO, shadow gid ka manggad.
I remember when our founder, Direct Peke Galiaga, who planted the seeds almost 50 years ago said, "Make your garden grow."
Hi mga abyan! Ako si Maria, ang inyong abyan gikan sa Bacolod. Kabalo ka mo kung ba subong? Ha? Ano? Tama! Arita sa Lasal! Lakata! Hindi naman kauyak! Masunod na! Folks, before we go, first don't forget your proper hot water. Face mask, face shield. Now, let's go! Gotcha. Check. Body temperature. Achieve. Alcohol. Perfect. Now, let's go. All done. Ngayon, dadalhin ko kayo sa iba't ibang lugar dito sa Lasal kung saan madalas nagtatanghal ang MASKARA Theater Ensemble. Ready na ba kayo? Magte-teleport tayo. In 3, 2, 1. Ay, sorry. Kulang tayo ng energy. Inhale. Exhale. In 3, 2, 1. Nasa Galiaga na tayo. Hala, may nagpa-perform. Shh, akyat tayo ha.
Dito nagsimula ang lahat. Lugar kung saan makikita ang iba't ibang pagtatanghal.
Nasa drama na tayo.
Iyak, halakhak, pawis ng aming katawan.
Aray! Sa Coliseum na tayo!
Ang mga lugar na ito ang nakasubaybay sa aming pinagdaanan.
Your piece, please. Yes po. Nandito tayo sa parking lot.
Walang pinipiling lugar, malaki man o maliit. Kaya naming gawa ng paraan upang ang sining ay maipahayag sa inyong harapan. Malayang kumikilos ang aming katawan sa mga karakter na aming ginagampanan.
Hoy, Paco!
Maria, natulog ka ba? Deliver your lines!
Po, hindi po. Wait lang mga pangga. May rehearsals tayo, ha?
Tag-init man o tag-ulan, hindi kami mapipigilan. Ngayong may pandemya mang dumating, ginagawa pa rin natin ang maaaring gawin. Mensaheng gustong ipahayag, teknolohiya ang ating naging sandalan.
Pero ngayon, we do not limit our spaces to outdoors. We also have social media accounts such as Facebook and Instagram. If you have time, you can follow, like, and share for more updates.
This is us now. This is MASKARA Theater Ensemble.
Ready. Ready! Curtain.
Isinusumpa ko po sa inyong lahat. Oras na matapos po ang gyera, magpapagawa po ako ng bagong kapilya para sa inyo. Magpapagawa po ako ng maraming damit para sa inyo.
Nagsiselos ka sa sityo, ano? Wala kang karapatang magselos! May asawa na yun!
Iiwan mo ko para sa kanya, Dennis. Hindi mo ka... Christy, tiwas na lang. Tiwas na lang.
Huwag mo akong utusan! Anong sinasabi mong paliyayan ng mga anak mo? Kaya sila nandito dahil ayaw nila sa'yo. Huwag kang makialam, di pa ako tapos!
Marit! Palibhasa, science ka lang kasi ng science eh.
Ang music ng opera ay napakaganda. Hindi mo na kailangan maintindihan ng mga words para maramdaman mong sinasabi nila.
Let us go on. Let us keep on. Despite of our wounded hearts, of our hesitations, let us suffer it along the way, pausing for a few seconds to admire the violets that flower through cracks of earth. Let us go on. Let us keep on. Despite of our wounded hearts, of our hesitations, though our minds wonders to what was left or what it was, we are leaving to who has left and what it was we have given, or for the pang of pain coming from nowhere that we wish it had not come. For we have been good people. We try to, every day, to care, to move and care, and yet, here it is, a stranger without a face, sitting among time, taking what we used to have. Still, let us go on. Let us keep on. Despite of our bruised hearts, our hesitations, pausing to admire the old trees by the highway, and how the mountains endure, crying between words, waving at a complete stranger, smiling at the children passing, sending the warmth of our thoughts, fire from another mountain. We have to go on. We have to keep on. Our love, our light, our thoughts, our prayers. Despite of our tired hands and hearts, we can keep going on. Let us walk until we are, once more, one with ourselves again.
I'm so moved, so heartening to see Peke Galiaga's theater legacy live on and thrive in your embrace and your exuberance, dear University of St. LaSalle students. I had the good fortune to have a summer workshop with Peke in my halcyon days at DLSU. It changed us all forever. And it made me firm in my commitment to performance. And I'm much older than you, and I'm wondering what a gift you guys have with the legacy of Peke. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, for your exuberance in performing anywhere and anytime. Thank you.
Maraming salamat din po, Miss Nini.
So we have been to Ozamiz, to Bacolod, and now let's go to LaSalle University, Dasmarinas, Cavite, to experience the work of TEATRO LASALLIANA. Let's call upon NICOLE CALINAP, who is the president of TEATRO LASALLIANA. Hello, Nicole, how are you?
Hi, Ma'am Sunita, and hello for everybody who's here po. Kamusta po kayo?
Hello, hello. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to see?
So what you are about to see po is one of the activities we have done during the pandemic po. And we held this event last March 29. It is an outreach and spiritual activity which we have a beneficiaries, and our beneficiaries are Friends of St. LaSalle Choir. And the material for this production is self-made by our members po. And the story of this is about the 7 deadly sins that students like us experience in this new normal setup. And this aim to develop a sense of responsibility among our actions po.
Okay. So are we ready to see it? Yes, let's show it.
Ayan. So, welcome sa ating online class today. And thank you so much sa mga present. And before we discuss anything, we need to have an attendance. Okay? So, let's start with Jason. Jason.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Jamil.
Hello. Hi po.
Thank you. Brittany.
Present.
Thank you. Tintin. Tintin.
Present po, sir.
Thank you. Johnny.
Present po.
Thank you. Jelay.
Papa.
Thank you. Victoria.
Present po, sir.
Thank you. Beatrix.
Present, sir.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nasaan si Trisha?
There po yan, present yan.
Present din, hindi ko nakikita. Nasaan si Trisha?
Sir, hindi po daw, hindi makaka-attend dahil uminom po yun, sir.
Uminom?
Uy, uminom ka dyan.
Yes.
Hindi kaya. Masakit siyan, food poisoning.
Na food poisoning?
Kasi hindi ka naman nakalagay sa close friends niya. Nakita ko sa IG story niya.
Excuse me. Sa messenger story kaya.
So,
Enough
nakita
for that.
mo uminom.
Okay. Enough. Okay. We'll just contact Trisha then. Okay. So, ayan. So, let's proceed sa ating discussion. Okay. So, ayon sa turo, meron tayong 7 nakamamatay na kasalanan. Anyone from the class? Kung naalala niyo yung discussion last week?
Uy, sino pwede kalaro dyan?
Yes, Beatrix.
Greed, pride, gluttony, wrath, and sloth po.
Again, sorry.
Wrath, sloth, pride, greed, lust, and gluttony. Yun po.
Anger. Po yun. In Tagalog, katakawan, kamunduhan, katamaran, pagkainggit, kasakitan, tsaka labis na pagkagalit, sir.
Wow! Impressive, ah? Very good, Victoria. May 7 mga kasalanan ng mga pagmamataas.
Kahambugan. Kasing taas ng langit ang tingin sa sarili.
Sa lahat ng estudyante dito, ako lang naman ang matino at mahusay. Sabi nila, wala daw perpektong tao. Hindi yan totoo.
Ang scholar ng
Dahil
bayan,
ako ay
Victoria de la
perpekto.
Rosa.
Inggit. Nakakalasong emosyon. Kumpara rito, kumpara roon. Nais maging katulad ng iba. Sa salamin ay malabo ang kanyang sarili sapagkat napupuot ng selos ang kanyang katangian. Ninanais mapasa kanya ang lahat upang mapunan ang mga hiling na tinatanaw ng mga mata sa kanyang sarili.
Kasakiman.
Pagkaganit. Gagawin ang lahat sa gitna ng peligrosong daan. Patuloy na hahayaan ng sariling anurin sa mga bagay na nagbibigay ng pansamantalang kasiyahan. Walang pakialam kahit ito ay maging bunga ng kasamaan.
Kamunduhan.
Kahalayan. Isang nakaw na sulyap sa babae ay kasabay nitong tangayin ang kapirasong tapis sa kanyang sabik na isipan.
Time is gold when watching both.
Di maiwasang maglakbay ang isip sa maduming pantasya. Hinahayaan ang oras na tumakbo sa malalaswang bagay. Mapunan lang ang matang uhaw sa kahalayan. Katakawan. Walang humpay na paglamon. Tila nakukulong sa makasariling pagnanais na tanging sarili lamang ang dapat mabiyayaan ng kabusugan. ngunit nauwi sa kabusugan ng kasibaan.
Katamaran,
Katamaran. Bawat paglipas ng araw, kasabay ang pag-init ng pwestong hindi mabakante ng sarili. Tila naghihintay ng ibang taong pupunan ang kanyang responsibilidad. Sa huli, ibabaon na lang pala sa salitang bahala na.
labis sa pagkagalit. Ngayon, magbigay nga kayo ng halimbawa. Anyone from the class? Example. Give me examples.
Shut down.
Galit.
Mga bastos kayo ah!
Isang emosyong mapanganib. Di namamalayan ang bawat kilos ay parang isang ganti sa kanyang kaaway. Di maiwasan ang sariling sumigaw sa bawat salitang binibitawan ng kanyang bibig ay para bang sandata ng madilim na himig.
Itong online class na to? Hoy, hindi lang kayo nahihirapan. Aba, out of 29 students, 8 lang kayo nandito. Tapos hindi pa kayo nakikinig. Aba naman. Ay. Ano? Ha? Ba't di nyo gayahin yan si Victoria? First honor natin yan, no? Tularan ninyo. Naman. May sinasabi ka, Beatrix? Ha? Aba, bastos kang bata ka. Wag mo kong ma-off cam na yan, ha? Buksan mo yan! Beatrix! Isa!
On cam na.
Kamo yan!
Talagang kumain.
Ikaw, Beatrix Celerio, ha? Ano? Hanggang inggit ka na lang ba? Yan lang kaya mong gawin, ha? Inggit na inggit ka kay Victoria. Alam mo, nakamamatay ang inggit na yan. At ikaw, Precious Garcia. Hoy, Britney. Alam ba ng magulang mo na nagbebenta ka ng mga lalaswang content sa social media, ha? Alam ba nila, ha? How dare you na nasa Catholic school ka pa naman? At ikaw, De Los Santos. O, Johnny. Ano? Ha? Bagay na bagay sa'yo yung pangalan mo. Johnny. Since nalulung ka na sa porn. Nakaka-high blood kayo. At wow, kahit nagsisermon na ako dito, lakas ng loob mo kumain, ha? Sa harapan ko pa, Jumil. Ano? Mabulunan ka sana.
Grabe, sir. Kumakain lang.
Yan, si Teresa. Yan. Maglasing siya na maglasing. Oh, subukan mong ipikit ang mga mata mo. Jerry Villa Carlos, ha? Puyat kayo ni San Pedro, ha? Hoy, Tintin. Gumising ka dyan. Kakanood nyo ng walang kwentang kay drama na yan. Kung nag-aaral na lang kayo at nagpapasa ng assessment ninyo, di sana matataas ang grades nyo. Hindi tulad ni Victoria, tingnan mo. Laging first honor. Di ba? Yan ang dapat tularan nyo.
Lagi na nakita.
At ikaw, Jason. Hoy! Jason!
Sir, nagrarangk ako, sir.
Mararang ka sa akin. Shutdown mo yung cellphone mo. Bitawan mo yan. Makinig ka, ha? Yung cellphone mo, ibaba mo. Kayong lahat, mga wala kayong modo. Bahala ka sa buhay nyo.
Napakawalang respeto nyo kasi, alam nyo ba yun?
Mga katangian sa mundo na hindi natin namamalayan ay unti-unti tayong inilalayo sa Panginoon. Hahayaan mo na lang bang manatili ang sarili sa mga makakasalanang katangian? Hindi pa huli ang pagsisisi upang manaig ang mga kabutihan na nakakubli sa ating mga sarili. Dahil hanggat tayo ay humihinga, hindi imposible ang pagbabago.
What a compelling engagement of the 7 deadly sins, the way it's been threaded together using the Zoom platform, the nightmare of the Zoom platform of every teacher, actually. It is really a great reminder of us to be vigilant, especially in these times, even despite these times, that we have to keep our moral core despite that. And that was you, Nicole, right? Miss Mayabang.
Yes.
Okay, would you like to tell us just a little bit about Teatro LASALLIANA?
Teatro LASALLIANA is the sole theater group in the LaSalle University, Dasmarinas. We are under the guidance of Mr. Nasser Salcedo. He is our advisor and artistic director po. Our group is po.
The performance?
Po?
Who was the main guy in the middle? Who was he? Anger.
Sorry?
Who was Anger?
He was our alumni po.
Okay.
Daryl. His name is Daryl po.
Okay, please continue.
So our group po is one of the 7 institutionalized organization in our school under the supervision of Cultural Arts Office. And we have started on 1988. And ever since, we have been striving to provide and expose the community with quality theater production while inculcating the Sallian values and at the same time nurturing the capabilities of the members of becoming genuine student leaders.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicole, for that. Really, very, very clever, I felt, using the Zoom platform. Thank you. So after our jaunts with Mindanao, Visayas, and Cavite, we have with us today from our big brother down in Taft Avenue, De La Salle University's HARLEQUIN Theatre Guild. I'm proud to say that I and my sister Sujata were part of the DLSU Dramatics Guild in the 1980s, when we were a ragtag team rehearsing anywhere on campus, performing at the then brand spanking new William J. Shaw Auditorium, causing a ruckus while making lots of money with the blood-curdling horror booth, which supported our bold, bad, boisterous passion projects for the whole school year. It was then that the Harlequin, the zany, astute, oftentimes subversive commedia dell'arte trickster character, became an appealing mascot for us bohemians of DLSU, mostly known for engineering, computer science, business. And here we were, the thespians with histrionics, bringing a burst of rainbow colors to what we perceive to be a stodgy campus. And now we have the progeny of one of the oldest collegiate theater groups of the Philippines. Now the premier and only recognized theater group of DLSU, with Romualdo Rafi Tejada as their artistic director. Rafi is a member of the Associate Artistic Director Program of PETA and also faculty at MINT. He's the member of the ACUPE, the NCCA Committee on Dramatic Arts, and board member of the Artistic Welfare Project, Inc. One of the many productions he directed, Sine Calle at Tanghalan, was recognized by the NCCA NCCA for directing. He was also nominated as Best Stage Director for a non-musical production in the 2012 Aliw Awards for his work, Unang Ulan ng Mayo, with the Harlequin Theatre Guild. He is a recipient of the Gawad Brothers Cecilio Ojilio FSC for 2012 and 2013.
Maraming salamat, Doc Suni. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. And good afternoon, everyone, to all student artists. Siyempre, special shout out sa mga guilders na naririto ngayon sa Zoom. Yon. And to all my fellow artistic directors, to Ms. Magda De Leon, Associate Dean, Benilde Arts and Culture Cluster, and to Doc Suni Muki, who curated this meaningful gathering of LASALLIAN artists amidst of pandemic. Mabuhay tayong lahat, despite of difficulties and uncertainty. Our theater organization in LaSalle delivered best efforts of sharing stories in our communities. Trainers, especially student artists, are the most essential workers. We should say tayo ay mga frontliner ng sining, ng teatro at ng pagtatanghal. I don't want to preempt the content of my presentation. All are embedded in my PowerPoint. Hindi ko na rin papahabain pa. Pero may konti po akong paalala na may ilang mga video, lalo na sa bandang huli, na maaaring makatrigger sa ating mental health issue. Narito po kami, ang DLSU Harlequin Theatre Guild.
DLSU Harlequin Theatre Guild Find Your Space Theatre is a module in Workshop from Home. It aims to produce efficient LaSallian student artists and 8 new plays that are commissioned work from the writer's block. Kalooban is a compilation of 8 new works exploring Filipino mythological characters as the source of stories and values. Directed by 8 senior members from the Guild, shown last May 23 to 28 at Animo Space and FB Close Group. Dulasal 2K20 Calooban is a production in the midst of pandemic.
Ang apoy ay may kakayahang baguhin ang anyo. Espiritu ni Liwanag Trinidad ay lumapit sa amin.
Shooting and recording in home, rendering, editing, and streaming, perhaps a new landscape for performing arts, theater, dance, and music. The rehearsal time could be done either through synchronous and asynchronous modality. The actor and performers prepare their respective spaces, set up their computer, camera, lights, put their own costumes and makeup, record the video and audio, then upload it to the cloud or Google Drive. Dulasal directors manage to identify the needs of the scene in terms of location. They break it down into different sections as a guide. Some directors casted their actors who are living in the province because they need a mountain, trees, and river. For example, this film Abukaykay was shot in 5 different remote areas: Laguna and Iloilo, Bataan and Cavite. The director matched the shots based on the scenery, camera angle, and composition. This is in San Mateo, Rizal. Following the health protocol from IATF, guilders recorded themselves and rendered the materials respectively. The scene convey us that they are in the same space in the mountain, but the reality is they are separated. One is in Dubai and the other actor is in Pampanga. Exploring the possibilities of green screen technology, in Dulasal we managed to explore the 3 prime locations: the interior, exterior, and green screen. Although This method could be very film and video oriented, but in theater we called it space. Now, what is Find Your Space Theater? Last year on March 2020 was the most difficult moment for all of us when the government announced the lockdown due to the pandemic. It caused to close all schools nationwide and to stop all theater activities and other live face-to-face performances. In May 2020, the LSU Culture and Arts Office advised us to use Animo Space as our platform to render artistic training. By then, I formulated the concept of Find Your Space Theater, a workshop from home. The idea is to continuously study and create theater while everyone is in quarantine. A short trivia. Before I proceed, I'd like to mention last January 2020, the rerun of the LSU HARLEQUIN Theater Guild's Teacher Ko Sila Salle experienced live audiences in time of pandemic before the lockdown happened in March 2020. This is the time when COVID-19 occurs only in countries like China and Hong Kong. In the Philippines, we only have separated case. That is why we advise our audience to wear face masks during the show. The play was held in Teresa Yuchenko Auditorium, the LSU Top Manila. Today, I would like to share the Harlequins playing the pandemic strategy, and it has 3 major points. First is the training module and syllabus that I designed to fit the situation of online training based on synchronous and asynchronous modality. Second is the landscape of performing arts, time, space, performers, and audience in this time of pandemic and how Harlequin deals with it. And the third one is how we create DULAANG in a remote setup. For everyone's information, DULAANG is a theater recital for our apprentices and student artist, writer, and director. We hold this every year as one of our main theater program in HARLEQUIN Theater Guild. Jonathan Mendel wrote an article entitled Pandemic Theater Aesthetics that gave me the idea on how to deal with our situation now. He talked about how arts can be relevant all the time and how we as artists should respond to our current situation. This is the pandemic. Imagination and creativity must continue. These are some examples of semiotic art. I saw this emerge inside the mall on the 3rd quarter of pandemic last year. And yes, we did it. The guilders were able to attend and participate in an online training by using the principles of cope, adapt, and create. It is a pedagogical tool for teachers and learners in the new normal online setup and to facilitate or examine our human condition in times of pandemic. What are we facing today as LASALLIAN student, artists, and educators? The condition of our mental health and our resilience as Filipino. In Find Your Space Theater, we have 3 objectives. 1, to reimagine theater inside our home. 2, to learn fundamentals of broadcast theater. And 3, to learn the potential of Find Your Space Theater as an alternative platform for drama education, communication, performance, and a profession. And these are the course that we have tackled as a team, no? Paghilom at pagsulong, pag-ibig at pandemya, the resilience of youth during pandemic, I love you from a distance, mass and masks. Now, let's watch Galaw Tula from Creative Movement and Writing Module. Title, Pag-ibig at Pandemya by Francine Panis.
Hindi ito isang kwento ng pag-ibig. Liham ito para kay kapootan na nagtataglay ng iba't ibang pangalan. Lumbay, takot, pagkabahala. Tila ko'y nag-iinit sa pawang pagtawag. Tanong ko lamang ang iyong pakay, na sa katahimikan ika'y nabubuhay. Sa mga espasyo, ika'y naghihintay. Isang bisitang naliligaw, nakikibahay. Hangin Nakihirap samyuhin. Tubig na may nakatutusok na tinik. Walang kahintulad ang taglay nitong sakit. Pahingay ginagambala sa tuwing sisilip. Hindi ito isang kwento ng pag-ibig. Kahit si Orfeo ay lumingon na makita na niya ang liwanag. At kahit sa liwanag ay may anino bumabagabag at kapag pinatay ang liwanag ay wala ka nang makita. Paano naging impyerno ang minsay kalangitan? Ngunit ito'y tandaan, kapootan. Ngayon na ibuhos ko na ang aking kapootan sa tulong na nananatiling liwanag na sa akin ay hindi mo makukuha. Dito nagtatapos ang aking liham, kapootan. Patuloy na nagmamahal, pag-ibig.
In Find Your Space Theater module, we transform all theater exercises and activities to asynchronous modality like flip learning. The shape and space exercise could be studied alone by the students during their free time. What they need to do is to submit the photograph of their artworks in the canvas or the animus space as we call it. Arts inside our home, in the tradition of image theater. In this time of uncertainty, the artistic expression must be evolved in the hearts and mind of our students. They make creative visual arts. They produce poster, collage, and editorial arts. For me, Arts Inside Our Home is the prototype of Harlequin Theater Guild to make video production using the theater process. This is a new landscape of doing theater, from still picture to motion picture. The Dulasal 2K20 Calooban, although an online video production, we are still proud to say that this project succeeded because of theater processes, practices, and knowledge that we had. In the new normal, we fused our stock knowledge of doing theater into the new phenomena of doing things in an online setup. It's almost the same manual, but in a different space and time. Remote space. In Dulasal, one of my requirements before we shoot is to produce sequence treatment or directorial concept paper. This include production design, cinematic concept, lighting, camera angle and movement, editing point and style. These all elements must to encapsulate in what we say storyboard. Now, let's watch an excerpt from the play Capirosa. This is about poor white lady, narrated their unfortunate life and experience, written by Ding Dong Novenario, directed by Gian Torres.
Sana sinumbong mo sa polis. Pumunta ako sa polis. Nagharap pa kami nung taga-barangay. Sabi tutulungan daw ako sa kaso ko. Buti naman. Pauwi pa lang ako galing police station. Pauwi ako papunta sa bahay namin. May dumaang bang nakamototsiklo? Pinatla ko dito. At dito. Gusto ko lumaban. Gusto kong gumante. Gusto ko malaman nila na mali yung ginawa nila sa akin. Sa atin. Alam nila yun. Kaya hindi tayo susuko, ha? Kailangan lang natin magpakita para maalala nila.
Kailangan makita nila para alam nila.
Pagod na akong magpakita. Pagod na akong magparamdam. Pagod na akong magpaalala. Kailangan lumabas mula sa kanyang anino. Magpakita, kahit paulit-ulit, gabi-gabi, para malaman ng iba kung sino ka. Magkwento na wala mong maaari din palang magbago ang iyong kwento. Para sa iyong anak, para sa iyong pamilya, para sa iba pang mga kababaihan.
At malaman mong hindi lang pala puti ang kulay mo, kundi isang bahaghari ng iba't ibang kwento.
Ladies, kape, para kabahan.
My little precious bird, why are you crying? Take your things and spread your wings and fly. Go on, keep trying. These voices in your head can scream, but you'll endure in the end. You're not unable, don't you see? Someone's listening to every word you speak.
And to end up the talk, let me share to you the learning outcomes of Find Your Space Theater. Students must be able to improvise and learn how to collaborate their story by using available space and materials found inside their home. Students must be able to have knowledge to transform any kind of literature to an online performance. Student must have a basic knowledge for shooting and recording the performance materials by using a phone camera. Students must do basic editing, sound mixing, rendering, and color grading. Student must be able and have knowledge on broadcast streaming platform such as increasing viewers' engagement, marketing and promotion, etc., etc. Students must experiment and explore new online content using drama, theater education. And the output, online pre-recorded performance. Thank you for listening. Passion over fame, Animo, LASALLE.
Rafi, it is so magical and gorgeous what I saw. Harlequins, DLSU, has been made brighter by the likes of you. The animal spirit thrives for sure, for sure. Thank you so much, Rafi, for that, to show this kind of theater. It is making me, I'm enthralled, but it's making me think about questions like theater, film, editing, multimedia. Are those just porous boundaries now? Are they just loose terms? But we'll discuss later more. Okay, so let's think about that.
But I'd like to announce also the presence of the directors, no? Si Ange nandirito ngayon, director ng Abo Kaykay. And then yung ilang mga editor po namin, si Brill, yung ilang graphic artist namin, si Nina, nandiyan din. Si Red, yung artista natin, tsaka si Ira. Yung aming company manager, si DB. Lahat ng ito, Doc, ay mula sa talino ng ating mga student artists. Tayo ay taga-facilitate lang. So kung wala yung effort nila, hindi naman magaganap ito eh. Salamat sa lahat ng mga student artists na naririto ngayon.
Thank you really, the student artists, I mean these LASALLIAN thespians and theater folk. I am aghast, actually. I also want to emphasize that these theater endeavors that GUINDEGAN, LASALLIANO, MASKARA, HARLEQUIN, these theater endeavors are extracurricular, right? They're part of their student activities. They're really not part of the academic program. It's part of their formation as students of LaSalle. But this is done out of the classroom requirements of their academics. Of course, their academics do inform what happens. Their theater, their literature, what they learn in the social sciences, human behavior, discipline. Of course, it does inform, but you don't, this is not what they take up as a major. Of course, we have this major at De La Salle College of St. Benilde, the theater majors. They do take it as an academic course. And of course, I cannot say that we have not been enriched by the academic understanding and the practice of theater as part of the curriculum. But I am, as I said, quite impressed, and I admire the fact that our LaSallian brothers and sisters in these other schools prevail with theater, even if it's not part of the curriculum, strictly speaking, and the seriousness and professionalism that is endowed on these subjects. Thank you so much for sharing with us your commitment. It's very inspiring. And now we come to our own home turf. A hop, skip, and a jump across from Taft to Leon Ginto, to the De La Salle College of St. Benilde's resident theater company, DULAANG Filipino. They have performed and have impressed in multiple local and international festivals, headed by their artistic director, Ricky Benedicto. DULAANG Filipino has given back to the Benildean community through outreach programs like the Summer Service Program, Gawad Kalinga, Alay sa Bata Program, etc. Today they will share with us Mukha ng Bayani, a series of vignettes about the heroes of the pandemic, written by multimedia major Justine Hippolito, who's the senior member of DULAANG Filipino, and JOEM Ledesma, also member of DULAANG Filipino. They are joined by Chelsea CATLI, a senior member of DULAANG Filipino who already has quite a career in performance and film, as she has appeared in a number of productions and a number of projects with the CCP and others. She has been nominated for Gawad Benildagio's Most Outstanding Student Leader, and she has represented Benilde in France and US in various leadership programs and conferences. Currently, she is volunteering with the International Council of Young LASALLIANs. Let us welcome this dynamic trio of Benilde's DULAANG Filipino.
Thank you so much, Doc Suni, for that introduction. So, and thank you for having us. Thank you for including us in your very wonderful effort to recognize the theater works of our LASALLIAN community. So I'd just like to give you guys a little bit of introduction of the work that we want to present with you and share with you this afternoon. So as you said, it's called Mukha ng Bayani, and it was supposed to be a tribute for last year's Independence Day. But as now that we've been talking about it and we've been kind of reflecting what it meant to us, it means more than just a tribute to Independence Day. So I won't make this longer than it should be. So I think we're ready to start the video.
Isa kami sa mga na-lockdown. Pinasara ang buong kalye namin para makatulong sa pagpigil sa pagdami ng nagkakasakit, katulad ng maraming kabuhayan. Ang patahian at kurtinahan namin nila mama at papa ay nagsara. Ang kaisa-isang pinagkukunan namin ng panggastos araw-araw, ayun, napurunada, walang kita. Sa loob ng 2 buwan, wala kaming magawa. Wala namang panama ang karayom at sinulid sa telang tinatahi namin laban sa sakit na marami nang nabiktima, di ba? Mali ako. Meron pala.
Sis, alam mo ba, nakita ko si naglalakad papuntang work. Sa ospital din, di ba? Eh, balita ko naasan yun sa COVID ward. My God, nakakaloka.
Ano ba yan? Bakit dito dumadaan yan? Mahawa pa yung buong compound natin. Diyos ko po.
Hindi ko na alam. Nung una, ang problema lang ay walang masakyan. Bago umalis ng ospital, maliligo muna. Bago pumasok ng bahay, maliligo sa alcohol. Mas mabuti ng sigurado. Makikibalita kung kaya. Matutulog para naman makapagpahinga. Hindi naman siguro masamang makaramdam ng pagkapagod. Lalo na kung may magagawa ako para sa iba. Pero parang araw-araw kong nailalagay sa peligro ang sarili kong pamilya. Pagkatapos, ipaghahanda at maghahanda para sa panibagong hamon. Kailanman, walang tungkuling mas aangat pa sa halaga ng isang buhay. Pero nagiging mas makbuluhan ba ito kung ang kapalit ay para sa isang kinabukasan?
Mapaguro, estudyante man, lahat ng gawain ngayon ay sa kanya-kanyang tahanan ginagawa. Ngayong unti-unting itinataas ang lockdown, unti-unti na rin inaayon ang takbo ng buhay sa tinatawag nilang new normal. Wala naman sigurong inang hindi gagawin ng lahat para sa ikabubuti ng mga anak nila. Lalo na para sa isang lugar na tinuturing ng marami bilang pangalawang tahanan, hindi ba? Meetings, webinars, pagsusulat ng mas angkop na lesson plan, at ilang mga surveys sa mga estudyante para sa susunod na pasukan. Marami rito ginagawa sa harap ng screen. Marami rin dito galing sa sariling bulsa ng bawat isa. Pero para naman sa mga estudyanteng nakakapanayam ko, parang mas komplikado pa ata. Edukasyon daw ang sagot sa magandang kinabukasan. Para kanino nga ba ang sinasabi nilang bukas kung ang susi madalas nasa kamay lamang ng iilan?
Ano na nga ba ang itsura ng kagitingan?
Nakasuot ng puti.
Itim.
Nakabarong.
Baka nakasuit and tie sa loob ng isang kabaong.
Baka nakapolo habang nakashorts na pambahay sa harap ng computer.
Naka-t-shirt at pinagdudugtong yung ginupit ng tela.
Pwede rin namang nagbabike ng 2 oras sa ilalim ng init ng araw para lang makarating sa dapat puntahan.
Minsan, ay hindi na nila kailangang magsuot ng uniforme.
Hindi na rin kailangang napapalibutan ng dekorasyon o medalya para mapangalanan na matapang.
Walang iisang pinanggalingan.
Wala silang iisang muka.
Ngunit meron silang iisang mithiin.
Ang magsilbi
para sa bayan.
Sa bawat frontliner na lumalaban sa mga problemang lingid sa aming kaalaman.
Sa bawat frontliner na lumalaban para sa bayan.
Sa bawat frontliner na patuloy pa ring bumabangon at lumalaban. Kayo ang bagong mukha ng bayaning hindi namin malilimutan.
So I guess we want to talk about a little bit about the process and how we came up with the project. So this series we came up with it during the height of the ECQ last year, 2020. It was June. So we were all itching to do something to create. We were looking for something to do, like except from being stuck at home. So as a company, we decided that we wanted to make like an Independence Day tribute. And also we wanted to pay tribute to our heroes. But then we began asking, like, what is a hero? What are the qualifications to be a hero? And it's also our first attempt to kind of make sense of the circumstances that were happening around us, like what the pandemic means to us, what the pandemic means to our members, and our collective realities that was happening. So instead of the usual like highlighting Jose Rizal and Andres Bonifacio as our well-established heroes, we wanted to go to a road giving tribute to heroes that are not renounced, that are not very, not very popular. And we wanted it to be in tribute of our frontliners, of the people who are risking their lives every single day just to make sure that we will come out of this pandemic, that we will survive, like as a society, as families. Then we realized some of our members actually have family members who are frontliners, who sew masks for the community. We have members in the company who's at risk constantly because his sister is a frontliner. So all those things in consideration, it made it possible for us to create this kind of work, and we're very, very proud of it.
I'm really quite overwhelmed with this presentation, my fellow Benildians. Indeed, our frontline workers truly deserve our gratitude, our respect, our prayers, because they are battling really something mysterious, but we're still finding out what this is. And indeed, it is very close to home because many of even my students have expressed that they are amidst it, from their family members, their parents or their sisters are nurses and whatnot, and the disease sometimes comes home with them. So thank you for facing this pandemic head on with theater, or at least what we understand theater to be today. So may I ask everybody to please let us give our applause to our presenters this afternoon. After, I'm sure you all are bursting with questions and comments. The chat has been quite active. Of course, we're supporting our own groups too. But having seen each other's works, I'm sure you have things to ask, questions to ask. Let's look at our presenters today: FELIMON, Rafi, Nicole, the other Nicole, who represented Tanya. If Tanya's here, that'll be great too. Let us look again at the ruminations that was introduced earlier. And let's ask the questions again. Has this lockdown created a new kind of theater? What has this pandemic taught us about health, disease, relationships and isolation, sanity and spirituality? And what is the future of college theater in the Philippines, given our circumstances? So, hi Tanya. Tanya's there. Hello, Tanya. Thank you for being able to join us. Tanya is a force of nature of MASKARA Theatre Ensemble, and also in Western Visayas as a culture worker, arts advocate. She's led a lot of organizations and festivals, and is quite the Renaissance woman, I would say, in Bacolod and its environs. Thank you for being able to join us. So why don't we unmute ourselves, dear presenters, and let's ask the question of our presenters, whoever want to answer. What kind of theater have we invented in this pandemic? Who'd like to hazard an answer?
It's just a short reflection lang.
Yes, please.
This pandemic, brought us in the origin of theater.
Origin, okay.
The origin of theater, yeah. Because if we believe that ritual as the origin of theater, held in the house of Babaylan. So right now, in pandemic, we practice theater as a ritual inside our home. So parang tayo as a Babaylan, no? Ginagawa natin yung yung history ng practicing theater sa loob ng mga tahanan. So yun lang yung nakita ko ngayon. And in terms of time, because ritual needs to heal people, and in the pandemic, this is the continuation of creation of artists who are practicing arts as a frontliner of theater. So ritual and pandemic are equal parang opportunity sa ating lahat. And in terms of space, ritual is very communal area. In pandemic, we are in remote area and then common area. So, and sa ritual, performers are the baybaylan and the spectator. And in pandemic, performers are also the people, the artists na, needs to heal. Ginagawa natin to dahil may mga issue nga tayo ng ng kanya-kanya nating problema, mental health. Nagulat tayo last year, lalong anong mangyayari sa atin. Tapos suddenly, nagpa-practice tayo ng theater. And nakita natin na yung theater nakatulong sa mga estudyante, sa bawat isa sa atin na at least kahit papaano, may gawin tayo habang naka-quarantine tayo. Naging productive. Ayun.
What about you, Tanya? Let's hear from you, Tanya. Tell us.
Well, for us in Bacolod, I think we're lucky that we have had the opportunity to come together. That's in between quarantines, no ECQ. So if there's an opportunity that we can meet, and if the school will allow students to come to the university, then we take advantage of that opportunity to just come together and work together and meet, because it's really difficult. It's a very, very difficult struggle to meet online, and I think that resonates to everybody else. For me, I think the learnings that we've had for this year is that we were able to discover our other talents, like the MASKARA theater and some members were able to explore being editors, cameramen, things that we always took for granted. They've started to learn how to lay out, because the only way to express and connect to the community is online. So in the beginning, at the height of the lockdown in Bacolod, everything that we had to do, we had to put it online through our Facebook page to still be relevant to the community and tell the community that we're here. Kumustahan, we're still doing something. And later on, when it kind of relaxed na, that's when we started meeting. There were also other organizations that were collaborating with us here in Bacolod. So we're lucky also that we have the Performance Laboratory, which is parang like the alumni of the MASKARA Theater Ensemble. And they would also invite us to do staged readings. That's why you see all these mga little black box gatherings wherein the performers get to take off their mask, but everybody else in the audience, very, very limited, like 12 people only, get to wear their mask. So in a way, it's one way of trying to hang on to our sanity na we can still come together, even in small groups, and still do something together. So we haven't really explored so much on the online, though the tribute that we did for Peke, that was all done in our houses, because when he passed away, that was the first thing that we wanted to do, and that was the height of the lockdown. So if there's something that we learned to find strengths somewhere, to transform our weaknesses and the things we took for granted into our strengths, and still make sure that we take care of each other. So that's it. And looking now at what the other LASALLIAN theater groups are doing, it's so exciting and liberating to see all of these things these innovations and this collaboration online. And I'm sure we're learning a lot from this and will also inspire us to explore some more.
Yes,
Thank you for inviting us here. We're so happy to be here.
we're so happy to. Felimon, tell us a little bit about the thinking behind um, what what has transformed in your thinking, in your young student thespians thinking regarding theater as it has happened in the lockdown.
Um, uh, when okay, for February of first February 3 to be exact, actually we had I mean COVID cases already was rising in Manila, and then we had a production, and I was very apprehensive that the university administration will cancel our show because of the growing cases in Manila. That was February, 1st of February. And then luckily we were given the go, okay, pwede daw, no, but limited audience. So we only performed once. And for me, we wanted to do, we have already several productions lined up. And like the two festivals that are already in line for 2020. And when the lockdown happened and everything went crazy, and well, to be honest, we live in a place where internet connectivity is very, very bad. I mean, and my students are spread in municipalities that have not very good connection. So it was quite impossible to really create even trainings and workshops. So it took some time for us to really stabilize, and then we started, and then we know. I mean, we know that Zoom, for example, will consume a lot of data, and and sometimes students, they need all this data for their online classes and everything. And like what Doksoni said, that theater, for example, in LaSalle Ozamiz is an extracurricular. That means this is not really the top priority of the students, yet we want to create. And that was the period when we started discussing with some of the current, student leaders, student artist leaders, that we wanted to do theater that is live. We wanted to experiment. And then so we thought of really pursuing the two festivals that we regularly, host every year. And then we say that, and then I'd like to share that, that piece that we did. I decided one of my trained actor was in Zamboanga del Sur, and then one is in Ozamiz, and I want them to act in that device play that will be our entry to Paris Mindanao Duo. And we wanted to experiment that, and for me that was, some of my colleagues told me that you're crazy. I mean, it's possible to do online when the two actors are present, but you have two actors in separate spaces, and then you have a separate team controlling. And I say, I want to try, because I want my actors to feel the feeling of in the moment, that it is not yet. That's why to the questions, the ruminations, that what kind of theater are we doing now? And I was challenging my actors that, okay, if we shoot it, will it not be film already because we shoot it? And then that was first the question that that we discussed. If you're going to shoot it, baka maging film na siya kasi sinut na natin. But we wanted to keep the feeling of performing live. So that we experimented, and I tell you, Doc Sony and their colleagues, it is, I would say patience is a virtue. It's really takes a lot of patience. But sabi nga namin, okay, parang ayoko nang gawin ulit ito, nakaka-stress. But eventually after the brand, it's like, very simple, no elaborate. We are used to having all those elaborate, designs. But okay, this one, just your home, just your room. and we can do theater even without all those lavish designs and everything. So for me, that is the kind of hybrid theater that might be created during this pandemic. For us with Teatro Gindigan, gusto namin mag-eksperimento ng bago, and this is something that we have experimented so far.
Yes, it was heartening to see that actually. And Teatro LASALLIANA actually kind of used the Zoom platform to the hilt. You noticed when they explored the 7 deadly sins, where all the classroom and then the fact that the students were all different, and they used that to the hilt, actually for each performer to express their sin as such. I thought that was actually very clever and how it was threaded together. Production design actually was, again, used quite well in the Harlequin Theater Guild's, especially in the last piece where those white women were, women in white, all of them having the same kind of white contact lens and the background, the white dress. So though they were from different places, far-flung places even, again, that was what kept them together. What I want to ask DULAANG Filipino is these people who acted in these different locales, who are they? Who are these actors? Were they actors?
They're actually part of the theater org. They're members of Dulaang Filipino, and it so happened, like Chelsea said earlier, it so happened that they also have family members who are frontliners. And during the earlier times, kasi po, we would have group sessions where we kind of just talk what's going on each other's lives. So we're kind of familiar on their situation as well. So that was it kind of put itself into place when we knew na sakto that this is what we were going for, and then we have these members whose parents, siblings were actual frontliners, and then we actually, just to talk a bit about the process that we did for it, is that we actually had them interview their relatives and ask them about what they were going through, especially their reflections as frontliners, because we wanted to be honest with our writing, but at the same time, we didn't want to glorify any of the things they were facing on the daily. We just wanted to be a genuine kind of reflection of what these frontliners would go through personally.
What was the site where you filmed it, and you filmed it with what equipment?
Funny story actually, because we didn't know this until later that some of them would actually borrow cameras for it. And then, so it's either that or they would use phone cameras, because we had limited options. So we had to make use of whatever we had at home and then just utilize it. So for example, each of these locations are actually their homes. That was actually yung tindahan po, yung patahian ng parents of one of our actors. And then, so that was the street of our nurse frontliner. So it was kind of like that. We had to maximize our environment and what we currently have to come up with Mukha ng Bayani. And the same goes for the projects that we did after it.
Very interesting. It's bold. It's bold and actually, how should I say, it is very resourceful, using what is already there and then creating drama out of it. Though, of course, these are almost, it's almost documentary what you're doing, because these are the lives of people that are actually happening and the travails they're confronting. So it's almost documentary, theater verite, as you would say. And in this case, it's like film verite. There's a question that's nagging me as a theater person. there's so much intervention, and maybe I'm being conservative about it, limited in my thinking. All these techniques that we've had to learn are all techniques of another discipline, multimedia or film. And we are being forced to do theater this way at this point because of our limits, the lousy lockdown, as I call it. Are we going to continue with this? Because theater prides itself in having a live audience, the chemistry of audience and actor, the space and time. Are we going to continue with this kind of interaction with technology?
I'd like to answer po, Miss. Regarding on what we did on Mukha ng Bayani, definitely we were conflicted because a lot of us, the members who were handling Mukha ng Bayani, we were multimedia art students. So we were familiar with both of performing arts and the art of film. So in our heads, it's like it does feel a little sacrilegious to sort of like, okay, we need to film it. So when is it theater? Where is the theater coming from? But I do feel like that we came into terms that if we want theater to evolve organically and evolve as it wants to be, we will let it do what it wants to do. I'd like to insert maybe an anecdote from the early pandemic where Aheb, Ang Huling El Bimbo, was released online for free for people to watch on YouTube. And for me, it's overwhelming to see support for Philippine theater like that on social media platforms go crazy. We're used to maybe productions that are not like as crazily received. So when we saw that, I was like, people are interested. People want to see it, but maybe they don't have the means or access to get to see the theater that we want to make them see. So it just goes to show that maybe the evolution of theater in the coming years, or here in the Philippines especially, maybe a part of it should utilize more virtual platforms as such.
Yes, I am conflicted too, because I guess because I'm an adept at multimedia and online. I mean, I belong to the generation where we wrote our thesis by hand. I know it's shocking to you young ones that, with a ball pen and paper, your thesis. But that's the generation I come, and we've had to learn everything. We were not born into it. We were not born this way, people. We had to learn it, and so it's interesting to listen to this to this kind of the first word that comes to my mind is interloper, right? Interloping, but I guess it's now become very interdisciplinary. Yes, you wanted to say something, Chelsea.
Just a quick follow through on what they've all said. And just kind of going back to the first question, like, are we creating a new form of theater? What is this new form of theater? When I was researching for one of my classes, because I'm a consular and diplomatic affairs student, so it's very near to theater now. I came across so near. So I came across this article because I was researching about bubonic plague for a class. So funny, so coincidental. So I was researching about it. And I came across this scholarly article with a title that says, there are 3 horsemen of growth, and among them are plagues. So essentially what we're going through right now is very plague-like. It's very, all those scary stuff, all those ugly stuff that they went through. So I want to hold on to that. Like, plague is a horseman of change, is a horseman for growth. So I think this pandemic, like especially for me personally, has made me reflect about what theater is like in the barest form, in its barest form, like without the venues, without, you know, lights and costume design, without all of those. So what came into mind was, to me, theater is community that transcends spaces. It's it's a form of community that transcends all of the challenges that we're going through right now. So, and it's also about perseverance and connection and all those things that make it so, that makes it, you know, so lovable and makes it so hard to just, you know, it makes it so hard to leave. Miss Magda and I were talking through chat last night, because I was asking if, because she was the CM of DULAANG Filipino back then, and she was an shrimp major, and I told her that theater, no matter how far we venture off, we always find our way back. And it's because the essentials of theater, the core of theater, are made up of these things: community that transcends all boundaries and spaces. It's made up of perseverance, and it's pure, pure love. It's a labor of love. To me, that's what theater is.
That's quite beautiful, actually, beautifully said and very articulate, eloquently said. It's making me think of Grotowski, actually, and his poor theater.
Mm-hmm.
He took away plot, took away story, he took away lights, everything, and he said, essentially, it's the actor, not even the director, the actor. And space can be made, as Rafi pointed out. And I know, FELIMON, you like to have elaborate, beautiful, exotic cloths and set designs. But essentially, it's the actor, right? What our body, what we can, our voice, expression, and what comes out of that. And what does it matter if it's this frame, this limited frame of the Zoom? And what does it matter if it's your backyard or your street or the rooftop or wherever you find yourself? But if you can create theater because of love and perseverance, then that is what theater is. I do miss the liveness of it and the chemistry that is changed. But that could be because I'm an extrovert and I like to be with people. That's why I encourage people to please make comments, even if it's just an emoji of yeah, you know, so that there's some interaction with our people here. Are there any questions from our general audience? Can we see everybody? Can we see all our people who have attended today? Can we look at who have attended today? Cheng, Shema. Oh, there is something from Leo Mar Edrelin. Hold on, let me look at it. Maybe the groups could explore the element of venue stage a little more in future productions. Kudos to everyone. Leo Mar Edrelin says this. Elijah Gabriel to everyone from DLSU HARLEQUIN. Just to share my reflection, the pandemic made me realize that performing online transcends the, you know what? Let me see. Are you here, Elijah? Can we look at Elijah? Are you here, Elijah? Elijah Gabriel Flores, can we look at him?
Sorry, I don't have my camera right now.
See your face. Show yourself. Can we take a look at Elijah? Sorry, wait. Haha. Sige, comb your hair. Because he has a very long reflection, I think he should say it rather than me reading it out. Though, of course, you know, as performers, we want every opportunity to do a monologue, right? To present a monologue. So while Elijah's getting ready, Felimon, I recognized you. You were there in the solo piece, in one of the solo pieces, right, Felimon?
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us, yes.
I think at the time, Doc Sony, I wanted to experiment. And the first one is, I have to set an example. And we did it live. So I asked some of the other actor directors from Mindanao to work with me in those crazy, festival na all the actors are in different cities, and then we're waiting, like really waiting for your turn. And and then you have the virtual stage manager giving cues. Okay, you're next in 5 minutes. This piece will end. You'll be the next. You'll be streamed online. So, that was all an experimentation, and for us, it was stressful as doing live theater. It's the same, but the only thing is you're just facing a very cold virtual screen, and acting before it is, it's different, but at least you get a feeling of the urgency. I should not commit mistakes because it's streamed live, and if I do something wrong, the whole universe will see it. So I think that's something that I wanted to experiment na. Although isegue ko na lang yung sharing kasi after that, then I decided to create a more international collaboration of doing that answer using multimedia. So I work with actor from Japan and India and Hong Kong. So we did a one piece. In what I did before with Teatro Guindegan and in Mindanao were actually festival form, but in this piece was actually funded by Japan Foundation. We work on a project together as a single piece, and then we are 4 actors from 4 countries, but we use multimedia as part of the production to layer. So it's not actually us live actors working with the live fed of the video, but we are all performing live in four countries, and and LaSalle University controlled the fed of what will go to the stream. So all this kind of experimentation. That's why I said that this pandemic at some point has created more opportunities to develop more more ways or models of doing theater in this period. So there are a lot of possibilities. So just learn how to be creative and how we can ride on with the online platform.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it is something that we're doing. Bacolod is a little bit more fortunate because you have spaces. You're still able to do it in actual greenery and concrete, right? In your school. So it's like there's still opportunity for that, which I also am a little bit jealous about, I must say.
Yes, I agree.
And I like the fact that you can do it in your garden, in your compound, and you're in front of the statue or whatnot. It's very interesting. I like those kinds of defiances of spaces. It's actually it's another answer to the spaces that Rafi was talking about in his presentation. So this is Elijah. Hello, Elijah from HARLEQUIN.
Hello.
Why don't you share with us your reflection? And please use your performance voice.
Okay, I will try. Okay, so I'll just read whatever I wrote here earlier. So just to share my reflection, the pandemic made me realize that performing online transcends the spaces of theater, the traditional notions of what we know as space. Even though performing these within the walls of the theater may invoke temporarily the dramatic action, it is not the source of this emotion itself. If physical limitations of space become irrelevant, then performance becomes confined within its event space. Such articulates how space performs and how the event spatializes this performance. Uniquely, the quarantine has transitioned and transformed theater performances from the physical space to the theater to the virtual event space online. it's very interesting how our everyday activities or quotidian activities became spatialized towards the online setup. So we don't just see this in theater. Almost everything from work, classes, and even meeting people, all of this became were transitioned online due to the pandemic, the quarantine. Perhaps in the case of theater, this could be a some sort of response to express our longing to go back to the theater where we feel this sense of community. Kasi kapag online, parang it feels a little distant, or for me personally, iba kasi yung sama-sama tayo, for example, na nagpo-prod work, nagre-rehearsals. We're all in the same shared space, no? So maybe itong ginagawa natin could be our response to that longing by innovating our performances online. So yun lang po.
Thank you, Elijah. As you're speaking, it's making me think that indeed we crave for each other's company. And what has happened is that I can be here in Manila, but I can do a staged reading or even a play with somebody in Prague without going there, using this online method, right? So in a way, there's such space between us. We're not facing each other, yet we have shrunk it. It's ironic, isn't it? We have shrunk it because of this digital medium, this medium. Our universe has shrunk because we can be together in a play. Yet there's this feeling that we're not with anybody. We just see this two-dimensional image. So it can cause some cognitive dissonance and unrest. And I guess it might be really an adjustment. It will change the way we do theater. Maybe we will love live theater even more when we're able to do it. And maybe we will appreciate our multimedia brothers and sisters for helping us through this time as we are doing a different kind of theater. Because the way I see it is that performance is still happening. It's a different kind of theatrical performance, but performance is still happening. The idea of performance, that we're still able to tell a story. We're still able to share a story. It's just a little bit, it just takes a little bit of getting used to and some mastery of some skills. And maybe a dependence on other kinds of people. We theater people also are a little bit mayabang, diba? We think we are the mother of all arts, right? That we are the ones. True. We are the beginning and we're the alpha and the omega of the arts. We have everything: production design, architecture, acting, costuming. This, you know what? We have to do everything. So many skills has to come together in order to create a piece. You need to know how to sew. You need to know how to draw. You need to know how to sing and dance. And now we have to learn one more skill. Now we have to know how to do film, multimedia, video, how to use our cameras wisely, how to visually see using this thing, this thing. Not just our eye, not just our ear, but through this mechanism. So we're not only triple threat, we are not only quadruple threat. Now we have to be quintuplet threat. We have to know also how to use multimedia. So it's interesting to be uncomfortable, because that is a good state to be in as an artist, in order to find to be a little bit dislodged so we can continue to create, right? Let me see if there are any questions. Thank you, Elijah, for that, for bringing that up. Sam Dayrit. Are you here, Sam?
Hello po.
Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good po. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so
So
speak. Tell us your question.
so my question po is, I'm a production design student and I'm just curious about this. I'll just read it na lang po. We all know that theater productions are financially demanding. And do you think that the online setup or streaming shows online was an advantage to achieve a production that doesn't cost much? Or is it a good thing? And is it also effective for us Filipino to preserve arts and theater during times like this?
Those are like fighting words, Sam.
Yeah.
Fighting words, yan. Yes, Rafi, you wanted to say something in response to this, or you wanted to say something else?
And I want to call Harlequin to respond to the questions because right now they are the one who experience it. So can I call Ange, the director, Ange, DV, and Gian? Nandito ba kayo? Can you share
Yeah,
and
but
response to Sam?
Yes po. Hello. In
Okay.
response, as a response to your question, I do believe that it's not more of an advantage to have this online setup in terms of production design, because in terms of like costing, because honestly it is easier to create a production design for a single stage rather than creating production design to multiple locations. So I think that's one of the things. To answer your next question, I do believe that uh, among among other times, within this pandemic, ito yung oras na kailangan talaga nating maging effective as an art form, because I believe that while making Cafe Rosa, the play that was shown a while ago, it made me realize that theater as an art form is not really limited to the four corners of an auditorium. Theater is more of a culture. It is built within us. It is defined by how we use our bodies to send messages, how we can be spark for changes. So I believe that ito yung oras talaga para hindi natin hayaang mamatay yung theater, yung art natin. Ito yung oras para ipaalala natin sa mga tao na art is everywhere, na art is evolving, and itong challenge ng pandemic na to, isa siyang parang switch para mas patuloy pang mag-evolve yung theater. And kagaya nga ng as what Miss Doc Sonita said, tayong mga theater actors, mayayabang tayo eh. Kasi kaya natin lahat. And kung kaya natin lahat, kung doon pa lang sa sinabi na kaya natin lahat, ibig sabihin, kaya pa natin mag-evolve. Eto na tayo ngayon at mas may kakayanin pa tayo pag tinanggap natin tong challenge na to at ginawa pa nating mas evolve yung theater na meron tayo currently. That's from me po.
Thank you so much, Gian. Do you have anything to say, Miss Gianan?
Hello. Actually, Gian has already said like the whole gist of everything that we've experienced, and we want to say din po. So I would just like to add na rin siguro that the current state of theater is in a way challenging, yes, but it's also very rewarding because we're showing people that we are transcending borders then. That we originally we thought na theater is just limited to the physical space lang, na theater is only theater if you do it live, if you do it with an audience, if you do it along with your co-actors or your with your director face to face. But now we're showing the whole of the whole art community that theater can survive in an online setting. And this is very important for other generations to come, because uh, na-quote na yung theater before na it's a dying art because not everyone is parang nagpa-participate, not everyone watches theater performances face to face. But now that we're bringing theater online, we're bringing the shows to them. We're showing not just our audiences but the rest of the artists that theater is not just confined to physical space. We're showing them that theater is an art form that, like music, like dance, like poetry, it can also transcend in different spaces. Ayun po.
Thank you so much. Dee, your name is, we have emailed each other, right?
Yes, Miss. I'm Dara po. DV is my nickname.
Yes, Dara. Okay, thank you. We have a comment. I'd like to have Lei Gi S. Lumen to please share this comment with us. Lee, sorry if I mispronounced your name, forgive me. Lei Gi Lumen. Can you show your face, please? Hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm great po. Thank you. So I said I do not have a good afternoon everyone. Naing Baga Malem. I'm actually Lei from Ilocos Norte po.
Hello.
So
Are you joining us from there?
yes.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. Thank God for internet.
Welcome.
Yes.
So I was just gonna read my comment po. I do not have a question because those performances that were showcased are so amazing, and I'm also jealous because I wish we have one like that in our school. I would just like to extend my gratitude. I am an arts and culture student, and I live in a community where theater arts is not given much importance. And when pandemic hit, theater arts were neglected even more. I started to feel hopeless with my passion, but thankfully, through these online spaces, my love for theater will revive. Also, I am so happy to see you, Mom Sunita. I know you do not remember me, but I remember you because we once met in an international conference in UP way back 2019. I could send a pic. So I would always have to seek other places. Like I have to go out of my town just so I could feel the spirit of theater and then really improve my love for theater arts because in our community they don't have a group. So thank you po for sharing all your talent.
But Lei or Lee? Lei?
Lay po.
Lei. As Chelsea and Joem and Justine have said, and even as the Harlequin Theatre Guilders have said, the community is forming online. So you have a community, don't forget. Just have to click in, be our friend, and let's do something. So please do not feel isolated because the pandemic has a tendency of making us feel isolated when actually we can now reach out and take advantage. Let's just put our prejudices aside about virtuality and all that. Even I'm saying that to myself. Let's put it aside and reach out through online, Facebook, Instagram, DM, PM, Twitter, whatever, Zoom, there's so many free things happening. Make a comment on YouTube. I guess that's the way we can be extroverted and reach out. And this I'm saying to everybody. I've noticed, thank you so much, Lei, for your comments and for remembering me, and I remember you now for sure. I see in the participants that we have a lot of people from Ozamiz, from LaSalle University who are here, and also from Bacolod. Perhaps one of your students want to give a last comment. One of your alumni from Bacolod and I'll want to say something from Ozamiz.
From Ozamiz, can I ask my co-artistic director, Ted, who is actually my partner because he handles the educational and digital media services team of the university. So nagiging madali sa akin kasi may partner na ako who does all those technical stuff. So I know Ted, yeah.
Hello, Ted. How are you doing? You have to unmute. Yes, Ted. How are you? Yes.
I'm good. Thank you for the wonderful afternoon. Uh, what should I say? I'm very much overwhelmed with the different kinds of migration of theater that were shared here. With the part of Ozamiz, we are also thriving. With Dr. Felimon's note on, we wanted to really bring theater live, even though it's online. We wanted to bring it live. Though we have problems of the internet connectivity, but we are still trying to prove to the whole community that we can still experience these things live, though we are just facing um, with our screen. There are a lot of struggles when we migrated things online, especially that um, not all theater practitioners are great in technical works, are great in digital tools. But luckily, with the support also of the administration of the Salle University, we were able to utilize our new studio. The La Salle University built a new studio, a digital media studio, and that is why it aid our goal of bringing still theater amidst this pandemic. Yes, there are a lot of struggles, but with the different talents, same with Sir Rafi. Thanks to the talents of the student artist. Ambag-ambag, may marunong ng ganito, may marunong ng ganito, kaya nakabuo ng teatro sa online na entablado or sa online na platform. Rest assured that in this part of the country, we will continue to support the community and be part of a bigger LaSallian theater community. For yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We are our Teatro LASALLIANA group. Is there anybody from there who can say something? Because Nicole has had to leave, the president of Teatro LASALLIANA. But I see that there are some members who are still here. I see Iverson. Iverson, I'd like to give you some platform to say something, or anybody else from Dasmarinas. And Tanya, do you have a student who can say something? Any Bacolod?
Yes, it's so funny because one of my students just chatted with me and asked if he can say something. So here's Archel, one of our members. Archel, take it away for your sharing.
Yes, let's hear from all our students.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry,
were you in the film? You were in the film, right?
Yeah, actually, I
recognize you. Those lovely cheekbones of yours.
Thank you. I'm very sorry. I wasn't prepared, but I asked Miss Tanya for if we can share here in Bacolod. I think Miss Tanya already shared what is happening here in Bacolod. Yes, it is very unfortunate that it happened to us, but I think yes, we are very fortunate that we can meet. Actually, we have been meeting for the past few months if we can do stuff like this, how we can continue theater. Because after all, how are we gonna feel alive if we don't do theater and stuff like that? So yeah, I actually agree with the comment earlier if incorporating media with theater, if it's sacrilegious. Yeah, for theater experts, yeah, it is sacrilegious for some reasons. I attended a theater festival like months earlier. I shared my thoughts about how is it incorporating media in theater is gonna help for the future of theater. But this person, he was a respectable person, theater practitioner. He actually said that he's been cringing fusing media with theater because we always have been confined with the traditions of theater that it should be live. It should be it should be performed on stage. But yeah, it is. But I think desperate times calls for desperate measures. Like for example, there have been a crisis like years ago. The print media actually had a crisis. They can't produce enough what do you call this, content in paper printing, so they transition to online media and stuff like that. Well, they did survive. On the bright side, it's like venturing on a different path, but not really forgetting your roots. once you uh, Once you go back to the right path, or the path that used to be, uh, there is something like a learning that there has been something that you have learned from those paths that you have strayed upon. So I think this is on theater. I really I'm hoping that this will go back to the things they were before. Particularly maybe a couple of years from now, yes, we will really return to live theater. I really wish that we do, because the cries, the laughs, the shouting, or we're just projecting because we're theater people. We're just projecting. It really it really strikes the heart. It's very different from online, but I think um we, because we just adapted in this kind of crisis that we have. Like for example, for us, we are very adept in live theater and everything theater, but we are really not adept at online media and stuff like that. But we have been practicing it. So once things goes back to the way it was before, we are now more adept in media. So I think just get what you can, and then when things go back to normal, you meron kang learning, parang ganun. So yeah, I think it goes like that.
Thank you so much, Archel.
I
Anybody?
think I haven't introduced myself. My name is Archel from USLS MASKARA. Thank you.
Thank you, Archel. Anybody from Dasmarinas?
Hello, Ma'am Dr. Sunita. Good afternoon po.
Hello, how are you? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good, ma'am. Thank you. On behalf of Teatro LASALLIANA po, I would like to congratulate po the organizer po for this event po na nagkasama-sama po lahat ng mga theater organizations from other schools po na hindi namin alam before na madami rin palang theater organization sa bawat LaSalle school po. Lahat naman po tayo na nakaka-experience ngayon ng transition when it comes sa new normal po. Transition sa dating ginagawa natin sa theater na face-to-face, na lively tayo nag-act. Pero ngayon, though it's a challenge for us, pero sabi niyo po kanina na ang theater, makapal yung mukha natin, magaling tayo dahil tayo mother earth. Kakayanan natin to. Yun lang po, and thank you po.
Yes, thank you so much, Iverson. So on that note, we have kept you for almost 3 hours, which every multimedia advice have told us that we should only keep the audience for not more than 45 minutes, 45 minutes to 1 hour. But since we are theater people and we believe in epics, we've been able
Les
to.
Mis is 3 hours long, Miss Unya. I think it's okay.
I don't know. Thank you for comparing us naman to Les Mis. Right? Yeah, Les Mis is 3 hours long. Because we are theater people, we can sit through that, right? But the multimedia advice that we've all been given always is that your classes should be 1 hour and a half long to keep the attention of the students. But, I think we've defied so many rules many times, and we will continue to. So thank you all. Theater lives, it looks like, even if it is contentious, ambivalent. We doubt ourselves, we question ourselves all the time, but we're still prevailing. It's highly experimental, it's become interdisciplinary. Our LaSallian theater family prevail, they rise above, they even thumb their nose at the pandemic because we can do it. You can't cage us. You can't, because we'll make the cage our, right? You can't cage us. So, animo, LaSalle, we will continue to do this theater and prevail. We will struggle, but we now have, our LaSallian family of theater has grown now. Maybe this is a small step, but let's be friends. Let's be siblings, and let's continue. Let's try to do theater together. All right. I'd like to thank. I'd like to acknowledge actually my sister Sujata, who is a theater gilder, also a LaSallian also. We actually had this idea of us reaching out to the other LaSallian group. I'd like to acknowledge that this was her idea and I ran with it. So thank you, Sujata. And of course, I'd like to thank my wizards, Cheng, Shema, Rika. As I said, I wrote my dissertation with the ball pen. You know what that is, right? A writing instrument. Yes, I wrote my thesis with that, and with them, this format might be a little bit unwieldy for me. But thank you for making it happen and keeping me on the straight path, straight and true path. And of course, my associate dean, Magda De Leon, who is Benilde cluster, the head, the chieftain. I'd like to call her to please speak to you and to thank you all formally. Magda, are you
Yes,
there?
yes, I'm here. So thank you very much, Mr. FILIMON Blanco, Ms. Tanya Lopez, Mr. Rafi Tejada, Ms. Nicole Belguera, Ms. Nicole CALINAP, and to our Benildians from DULAANG Filipino, Chelsea CATLI, Justin HIPPOLITO, and JOEM Ledesma, as well as to you, Doc Suni, our esteemed moderator. Thank you, everyone, for spending your afternoon with us. We look forward. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of the following schools and institutions by extending our deepest gratitude for attending our event. LaSalle University, Ozamiz City, University of St. LaSalle Bacolod, De La Salle University, Dasmarinas, De La Salle Araneta, Benilde Antipolo, Hias Theater Ensemble and Dance Company, Kalumpit Central School, Dominican College of Tarlac, Bataan National High School, iAcademy, Mariano Marcos State University, Lanipao Catholic High School, Sangre de Naga Theater Company, Philippine Normal University, Homeschool Global Philippines Alabang Hub, and Babaguin National High School. In honor of the great city of Manila, we are inviting you, everyone who's here right now, to create poems, songs, dances, or performance art in response to the compelling images conjured by the faculty and students of Benilde's Design Foundation Department and Photography Program. So this is going to be moderated and curated by, of course, Dr. Sunita Muki. And please connect with us on Facebook. Just look us up at Benilde's Arts and Culture Cluster, on Instagram at Benilde Arts, and on YouTube as Benilde Arts and Culture Cluster. So we would appreciate if you will be able to respond to the feedback survey that you will see on the chat box. Okay, so last but not the least, can we all go on camera for a group picture? This is for documentation and posting on our pertinent Benilde sites.
Sige, put your lipstick na, people. Lipstick.
Okay, Cheng, who's going to take a Rika, Cheng?
Okay po.
Will count. Okay, you count.
Ready? 1, 2, smile. One more. 1, 2, smile. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you soon. And Yeah, thank you everyone. So thank you for coming here. Thank you for participating. We are one LaSalle, so hopefully we can do this again soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
so much.
you.
Thank you. Theater, animo.